Welcome to the Rise Above Show, presented by RoofCON. My name is Diego Dante, and I'm thrilled to bring you inspiring conversations with some of the most innovative and bright minds in our industry. From business and entrepreneurship to personal development and growth, we'll explore the strategies, insights, and stories that have helped our guests rise above challenges, overcome adversity, and achieve their goals. So sit back, relax, and join us on this journey of empowerment, inspiration, and discovery. This is the Rise Above Show. All right, welcome to the Rise Above Show presented by RoofCON. My name is Diego Dante. I'm here with my friend Lance from One SEO. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. Nice to meet you, Diego. Nice to see you, Diego. I'm doing great. Life's good. It's a beautiful day here.
Where are you coming out of?
I'm actually out of Bucks County, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. I'm actually flying out tomorrow to speak at RoofCON in Salt Lake.
So we'll get to meet in person. I'll be at RoofCON, and I know we've had a handful of phone calls and Zoom calls and all that, but we haven't gotten to meet in person, so I'm excited about that. So let's get let's do a little overview and we'll dig into some of these things. But for people that don't know you, give us a little overview of who Lance is and how did you get to the point of where you're at now.
So I'm Lance Bachmann. I'm from Philadelphia, Northeast Philadelphia in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. You know, I founded a company. I helped found it, start YellowPages.com years ago. Grew that to over 20 offices. I was vice president of AT&T then. Then I founded One SEO on my own. Started that 14 years ago, actually tomorrow, April 19th. I mean, anyone in the space knows who One SEO is at this point throughout the country. Sold that to a private equity firm 60 days ago almost now to Sky Harbor. Great people. Recommend them to anyone. John and his team are amazing people. With that, One SEO has a great CEO with CJ and a CEO with BJ. And we're going to talk about that, I'm sure, about that today, about why you got to set your companies up with great people to sell them, Diego. But I'm actually under LOI to sell my fourth company right now to private equity, a different company. And I think it's important, I grew up, orphanage, group home, foster care system, been locked up, seen a prison cell. I've never denied that to anyone when I was younger. Changed my whole life. A lot of ups and downs in my teenage years, early 20s, and thankful to a lot of great people around me. My sister Janine, my wife, I have a lot of people that have supported me, helped me change my life. And, I got companies now, LB Capital is going to do over $100 and some million this year.
That's incredible.
We have 3 companies under LOI to add over the next 60 days. Hopefully that'll take us to 13 companies LB Capital owns. And we're going to probably get to 20 by the end of this year. All home service-based businesses and obviously IT companies.
What type of home service business do you have under that umbrella?
We have roofing mainly and HVAC are our 2 main ones. And I do have a kitchen and bath company in the home service business also.
All throughout the country or in one particular area?
So the one HVAC company I sold to private equity was in North Carolina. I'm buying one in Nashville right now, HVAC company. All my roofing companies are in Pennsylvania or New Jersey as of right now. And I am looking for more roofing companies also.
So explain to people that don't know, explain the term private equity, because I feel like people have a general understanding of like, hey, companies get bought out and all that. But for people who don't understand that term of private equity, explain that.
So what private equity does is there's different types of private equity, right? There's search funds that go and get a bunch of different people to invest money, different pieces. So you're going to raise $10 million. The private equity firm might go and get 100 different investors to go raise $10 million, and they'll manage it. And each investor will get a distribution. And when they sell, they're hoping to 10x their money, right? That's a search fund. Then you have private investors that are like Alpine, Apex, Vertex, David Geiger's group, that they're self-funded. They get funded by bigger private equity firms to go out and hit a vertical and say, this is what we're going to play in and grow. And they come in, they buy your organization. And private equity they have deals with Service Titan, Goodman, GAF, all these people that we fight as small business owners to get rebates with, to get better pricing. They have the best pricing out there. So instantaneously, their EBITDA just grows instantaneously. And you got to think about this. A lot of people, like right now, you better parking your money in a private equity firm that's going to give you 10x, 8x, or whatever X it's going to be versus the stock market, right? So that's where private equity comes in. They know what they're doing, but you got to make sure you get with the right private equity group, because some private equity guys are terrible people and you won't get your earn out. They'll set you up for failure. They're not good people. So I tell people this all the time: relationships matter, and you want to have good relationships with the right private equity groups. And I've met with over 100 of them now, and I've weeded out the bad ones. Not
How do
all
you
bad.
go about how do you go about even identifying the right private equity firm to partner with?
No different than anything else. You're buying the person that you trust the most that will deliver. And you got to look at someone's history and their successes. You know, when I joined with Apex to sell them now 2 companies, just to Apex and Vertex, I was buying them, their culture, who they are, what they stand behind. Am I going to get my earn out? You know, there's a young gentleman, I don't even think he's 30 years old yet. He might be 31, Jacob Wachowski, that works for Apex. I would tell everyone, if you're thinking about selling your business, have a conversation with him, because he's going to show you what it's worth and take you. This man will tell you not to sell your business, that you can get more in 8 months to a year if you just fix these things up. So then I've had private equity firms, I'm not going to mention their name, that will come here and try and steal your business from you for pennies on the dollar. So you really got to go through the process, and it's a lot of work, Diego, because these guys are going to throw one big check at you. And the biggest thing that you want to get, if you can, is get equity roll up. You know, and that's what people don't realize. I want to leave a certain amount of money in my company because I believe in it. And I did that with one SEO. I did it with my other sales. So I get equity roll up. When they flip it again, you get another payout.
So let's talk about that, because I feel like some people would, depending on what stage of your business you're at, you might have some people that are maybe prioritizing short-term gains over long-term sustainability, right? So how do you balance that? And when do you know if it's the right time to team up with a private equity firm?
So for me, it's different, right? So my model with LB Capital, what we do now is we bring operators on. I people pitch me every single day to be their partner. I get anywhere between 3 to 4 inboxes, maybe 5 sometimes on my social media, sometimes 10. I vet through them. My people vet through them. We'll meet with. I buy the operator. There's certain criteria I have. If you're a heavy drinker, you're not my partner. If you do drugs, you're not my partner. If you cheat on your wife, you're not my partner. You don't take care of your kids, not my partner. Like, there's just certain things I have. I don't care if you got in trouble when you were younger. I don't care what mistakes you made. Everyone deserves a second chance, right? You know, so my model is we take people that probably couldn't become a multimillionaire on their own. I mean, anyone can, I'll never say, but they probably aren't going to do it so easily. We have the systems set up, the processes, the advertising, we have the technology set up, we have the playbook. It's actually right there on my board, as you can see right there. One of my boards there, and another one of my boards are right there. And we have the playbook, and we're constantly adjusting the playbook to what we do. So then what happens is an operator will say to me, hey, I want 10 million to themselves, and I'm willing to walk away. When I knew that company's worth $10 million, I sit the operator down at that time. I said, listen, company's worth $20 million. You'd get 10, I would get 10. Do you want me to go through the process? And they say, yeah. Then I always bring in Jacob first, because I trust him. He'll give me the truest evaluation. I always go to 2 or 3 other private equity firms. And what you don't want to have is someone that's going to retrade the deal, renegotiate the deal after they have you under LOI. People want you under LOI so fast. So I tell everyone, do not sign that LOI until you know you're going to go with them. And then we sell. So it really comes down to what is the check that somebody wants. Some people say, I want a $30 million check. Okay, then we got to grow more. So it's really depending on what the operator wants, Diego, and what check. And now I've done it 4 times. It's a very easy process. And I say this all the time. I've never met someone yet that sold 4 different companies to private equity in 4 different verticals.
Yeah. So do you see any, for I see it from my lens of I was like picturing my dad in this because my dad had a construction company that basically went under in 2008. So I grew up around that, just in my household, just seeing my dad go to work. And it just was never anything that to me growing up was part of the picture in construction until I teamed up with Hunter, and now I see that so much in the industry, and and so I've seen some of the positives, I've seen some of the negatives. What would you say are some of the risks specifically in the roofing industry when working with private equity?
None, if you do it right. See, Diego, you said something that hits home with me. When we grow up and we're kids, our parents tell you can be whatever you want to be. You can be whatever you want to be. You see that guy on TV, you could be him. But the problem is our surroundings is nothing like what we see on TV. We don't see that level of success. We don't think we deserve that level of success, right? So we grow up, and I don't know how you grew up, but I grew up in a house where everybody was criminals, drunks, alcoholics, and drug addicts, right? And there was just constant abuse everywhere. But your parents and school teachers would tell you you could be whatever you could be, but no one showed you anyone that did that, right? The height of what you could be that you saw was the police officer locking you up or locking your brother up, or the teacher that was in school that was telling you to be whatever you could be, but they never brought in someone that they made to be someone that you wanted to be, right? So it's like,
I thought the only jobs available, this is true. I truly thought the only jobs available were like construction, because that's what I saw my dad do, and teachers, because that's what I saw at school all day.
I truly believe this, and I mean this with all my heart. When I was younger, my self-esteem was so low, I thought if I could be a trash man, there's nothing against being a trash man. I'm not being disrespectful. If I thought I could be a trash man and have benefits, I would be a home run. I'd make my mom proud. And like I look back, I'm like, fuck, man, how low is my self? No one told me like you're just different, right? And so, I think with private equity coming into roofing, and there is no downside. I mean, it's coming in like HVAC 20 years ago. And I can only tell everyone that owns a roofing company, don't miss the boat. Don't miss the boat. The cash cow boat is coming in, and it's coming hard. I have Service Titan in my office right now. I have their product development team. I'll walk you out, let you see them. They're in my team because we were one of the first roofing companies on Service Titan. I'm the only painting company on Service Titan. Embrace technology, understand it, and you got to know what private equity is looking for. Look at their model and dumb it down for you. So when they come by you, it's a frictionless transaction. Make sense? They don't have to worry about setting things up. And education with private equity, how does it ever hurt you, Diego? I have a private equity people in the next room over meeting with a local. Yeah, I'll show you. I'm going to intrude their meeting right now. Don't say them. Watch this shit. Open up the door. Guys, I'm coming in. So what you're saying? Oh, they're not there. They were there. Where'd they go? They must have walked out. But pretty funny. They must be on the floor. But here, let me see where they're at. I see that they're out here. They must have. That's his laptop right there. But and their Service Titan, say hi. Carson, Abigail, say hi. So they're in here, right? So most roofing companies ain't gonna look like that, right? But but I'm constantly, trying to educate everyone in the home service business. Take every meeting you can with private equity. Take every meeting you can and educate yourself, because what happens is this is like your dad said in construction. How many people never sell their business? They hand it down to their children, or they ride it till the wheels come off. There's 4 ways you exit a company, right? You sell your business, right, to a private equity group or someone. You literally ride it till the wheels fall off. You hand it down to your children, or someone, or you die. Well, know what? Option 1 sounds better for me, to get a lot of millions in my pocket to set my children up for success.
100%.
I'm an option 1 guy. That's me. I'm an option 1 guy every time.
No, 100%. So let's talk about, all right. So we decided we're gonna, team up with a private equity firm. We're gonna sell, and what do we do now? Let's say we want to. How do we set up a game plan now for this plan?
So what I say to everyone is this: it depends what you want. Private equity is going to come in, the majority of them, and buy the whole company, right? There's no sense. Like, people don't understand. People are like, I want to keep 40% of my company or 30% of my company. The minute they buy 51%, you have no say. So you might as well just eat your ego, say I'm selling for a reason. These people are very bright people. They're very good people. And depends what you want. For me, every time I sell to private equity, I exit. So I might keep money into the roll up, but I leave. I don't stay. Even one SEO, when I sold that, see, I have no say there. I'm not even a board member, right? Like, and I love one SEO. It's my baby. It's what I'm known for throughout the country. People still, when they introduce me, say, "This is Lance Bachmann from one SEO," everywhere, and I'm proud of that. But I'm physically not the main owner anymore. You know, I mean, a private equity group is. So I
Even
think
I did that 15 minutes ago.
and I think there's confusion with that, right? And I'm proud of one SEO. Like, I love it, so I never correct anyone. But the point being is, you got to be willing to let that go. But what is next? What is next, Diego? Once you build one company, you can build the next and the next and the next. But people don't have belief in themselves. It's amazing to me how many people think they got lucky building something. You didn't get lucky. You built it through leadership, systems, processes, advertising, doing all the right things. Have belief in yourself. What's next for me is I'm going to keep buying companies. I own all these companies back here. These are all my companies right there. I own them all. And I'm going to keep buying and acquiring companies, building them, and changing the lives of these small business owners that never thought they could be multimillionaires. That is my whole entire passion now.
So you mentioned two specific things there. You mentioned that you want to develop leaders and build out systems and processes, and that's what's going to help you to be able to get your company ready to the point where you can sell it. So let's talk about that. So specifically let's talk leadership first. What are the specific things that you're trying? What's the specific leadership development that you're doing with your team to set the company up to be able to sell?
So we talk about this all the time. If I die, the company should not skip a beat, any of them, right? And that's the truth. That's true leadership. Everybody wants to be the man, wants to be the ego saying it's me. I have great team people around me. CJ, the CEO, One SEO, she helped build that thing. BJ, here, Cherry Roofing, Matt Rathgab, Amanda, Joe Lynn, my CFO, Animal, Sean, I have a team of people that jump in and do whatever is needed, and they're all leaders, and they lead by example, and it's a 24/7 thing. I tell everyone that leading is a 24/7 thing, not a part-time thing. You know, I coach football and wrestling, and I always say this. You know, I'm not the best football coach. I'm not the best wrestling coach. But what I do bring is a different mindset to every child. And every team I coach, we don't end the break with, 1, 2, 3 champions, or 1, 2, 3, best football players, or 1, 2, 3 best wrestlers. It's always the same thing. 1, 2, 3 leaders. 1, 2, 3 leaders. And my 4 sons, I talk about leadership all the time. I'm not looking to have the best wrestler, the best football player. I'm looking to have the best leader that plays football. I'm looking at the best leader that wrestles. I'm looking for the best leader in every one of my organizations. You don't have to. I've never sold a roof. I've never sold HVAC. I've never sold painting. I've never been on a roof. I've never even seen an HVAC ream versus train painting. I don't know the difference between Sherwin-Williams paint and Benjamin Moore paint. I don't need to know those things. I need to know how to lead people, take care of people, treat them well, take care of my customers, and have everyone else in my organizations do the same exact thing. And that's what private equity wants to buy. They don't want to buy Lance Bachmann. They don't want to buy Lance Bachmann, because Lance Bachmann then has to stay there and perform and infuse the companies.
It's the opposite. They want to be they want to be able to buy the company without you. So
100%. And I see so many people up on stage screaming and yelling, "Look at me! Look what I do in my company." I'm like, the opposite. Don't look at me. I don't do. You'll see me when I'm speaking at RoofCON. I don't do. Everyone else is going to be screaming, hell, they do. I don't do. Other people do. So when companies come in and buy, they're still getting that same production, that same product.
Yeah, for the people watching too, I'm, obviously right now in this point in my life, I'm in, operating this company of RoofCON, and so you see Hunter as the example of doing the same thing. Why is Hunter not hosting the RoofCON podcast? Why is, even down to speaking at RoofCON? Hunter's not speaking at RoofCON this year on the main stage. So he's starting to delegate all these things out. And the same thing with his roofing company. Hunter's not been on a roof in, 5+ years. He's not leading the Revolt events. He's not doing any of these things because he's getting his, he wants to make sure that, not to say like, hey, Hunter's, ready to sell tomorrow, anything, but if the opportunity comes up, he's ready to be able to do that. And part of that, the second part of what you talked about was with systems and processes, right? So what are some of those systems and processes that you need to have in place if you want to be able to sell your company?
RoofCON's amazing. Getting to see all the speakers like Nick and Eric and especially Tim Tebow. Very exciting and eye-opening.
Amazing speakers and great knowledge. Keep it up.
First RoofCON, been following Hunter and the Revolt Clan for quite some time, and it's definitely been a lot more than what we expected.
This event is getting better and better.
So if you're going to go to one roofing conference, make sure that it's RoofCON.
RoofCON 2023 returns to Orlando, Florida, November 9th through the 11th. Get your tickets at roofcon.com.
So we'll talk about that because I want to talk about Hunter. So Hunter flew out here. I don't know if you know Hunter spent a day with me here to see my
right.
Hunter's a great guy. Hunter's a great guy, great man. I believe in Revolt. We talked about that for a long time. But I will want to say this about RoofCON. I've been to RoofCON twice now. I'm going to be there again this year speaking on the main stage, Diego, by the way. So we'll have that conversation. But, and I mean this for everyone watching this, if you do not attend RoofCON, it is one of the most authentic conferences you'll ever see. You're going to meet people that truly want to help people, that want to help people grow. It's not a sales pitch. There's good information being given out for free. I go to tons of conferences around the country, Diego, and I will tell you this, RoofCON by far is in my top 3 conferences I tell everyone to go to. And it's for the small roofer. It's for that small person. You don't have to be a $10, $15, $20 million company. I know some of them do come, but you can be a $1, $2 million company. I say this to everyone. If you're doing $1, $2 million, $600,000, why would you not buy a ticket, invest in, and jump on a flight and spend 2 to 3 days and meet and network people and educate yourself? Invest in your company. It's how it starts.
And if you just want to so first of all, thank you so much. We did not ask you to say that, but I appreciate that. And also, a lot of people do just, sometimes you just need to come out and just meet people and just shake hands and kiss babies and all that. And it's not even about the content that happens on stage for certain people, right? And so one of the things that we did this year to make sure that it's accessible to everyone is we're doing free expo tickets. And so if someone wants to purely just come out and network, you can do that for free at RoofCON.
It's funny you say that because, and I think what you get more than just that and this is what I say about conferences. As you go to these places and you see these people that are so successful and you look up to them, right? People constantly inbox me, Lance, your success, you never have to work again. Your kids never have to work again. You've done it, right? Why do you keep doing it? I try and tell them. But the bigger thing you get from that is you meet guys like me and everyday people that were in the gutter, that lived in dumpsters, that were down and out. And you're like, shit, man, it is real. Like, it's as real as it can be. This person did it. I can, because you don't meet a lot of other, because most people, when you were down in your life, they try and keep you down. They try and, your circle, I tell people this all the time. If you're down in life right now, change your circle immediately. Get rid of everyone around you, your brothers, your sisters, whoever it is, get rid of them. And if you're finding success and you're growing and people aren't happy for you, get rid of them. I don't care if it's your own mother or father. Because what happens is when you're down, people feel good because they see you're down, they feel better about themselves. And as you grow, they get jealous. So your circle has to get smaller. So by going to these conferences, you're going to see a lot of business owners all go through the same things. How do we get good employees? How do we get the right technology in place? How do we do the right advertising? How do we have the right culture? When's the time to get a new truck? Do I take financing? Do I pay cash for everything? Do I leverage debt? Everyone has the same problems, but are they honest about it?
Yeah.
That's what you did at these conferences.
The first RoofCON that I was a part of was RoofCON 2020 in Houston, Texas. And it's the biggest thing that I remember from it because, I'm just running around trying to make sure that everything's flowing smoothly. And, I was able to catch some of the keynotes and all that stuff. And frankly, there's probably a couple main points that I remember that were said from stage. But at the end of the day, the biggest takeaway that I got from that was the number of connections that I made at that show. And, people that, now are good friends of mine, and just that I've been able to share, parts of my life with, and be able to, just be able to your point, like there's been parts where, I've had issues with operating a business, and I've been able to call people and say, hey, how do I do this or that, right? Where if it and Facebook is great, and I feel like I get to meet people that way, but I'm not building those intimate connections with people unless I'm there shaking their hands and truly making that one-on-one human connection.
Oh, without a doubt. Human currency is the best currency I can give anyone. Is my time. I tell people that all the time. I can't wait to meet you at SolarCon and give you a big hug. I go. Human currency is the biggest thing I can give anyone. I tell
No,
everyone.
100%. Okay, so systems and processes. So what are some of the systems and processes that we want to build out to be able to get the company ready to sell?
I keep it simple, stupid. You want to make it so simple. Answer the phone. Book the lead. Salesperson goes out. Close it. They're simple systems. But getting the job started, collecting payment, getting it finished, ordering all your product and materials, make sure it's on time. These are all things that are systematic and very simple to do. So it's just systems and processes. What technology you're on. I'm a Service Titan fan, right? Like, so I know a lot of people in roofing will like AccuLink. AccuLink's try to get, it's just not for me, right? I think Service Titan is the best platform out there for what I'm trying to do. I want one platform for HVAC. I'm not saying anything bad about AccuLink in any way, so don't think I am. It's just certain. I believe if you try to take too many technologies on, you'll sink, right? So I'm a Service Titan person. I believe in Service Titan. You see they're in my office, right? So it's just a very good situation for me. So you got to have a technology that you're on. Private equities want to know that your books are in good shape, that your customers are in one place. They can see what you're doing for your customers, that you have a price book. Everyone's being charged the same. You're not a fly-by-night guy going out and saying, well, this is Lance Bachmann's house, a multi-million-dollar house. Because I tell you right now, I'm going through it right now. And people, the estimates are up here. And they don't realize that on all these construction companies, I start laughing. And then like one will be here and one will be there. And then one's all the way up here. And I'm like, well, hey, and I'll sit them down. But how did you come to this price? I said, this is the labor that you're going to pay. This is what the materials are. And I'm like, you make 70% margin on every job, but yet you only have 6 people working for you. And they're like, huh? I'm like, well, I just did the math for you. There's 7 people in your company. You were going to charge me X. I said, or did you see my house and you figured you're just going to increase the price? Well, private equity is never buying that, right? So you need to have Service Titan in place, AccuLink, whatever system you're going to use, House Call Pro, whatever it may be, that they can see you're being consistent, accurate with your pricing. All your customers' data is in there. Make sure your books are in there. Do not have a ton of debt. Some companies have to have debt. I get it to scale. Vehicle debt is great debt, but if you owe your suppliers $800,000 to ABC and another $500 to Beacon, well, what are you doing with your money? You're mismanaging your company, right? So that's going to be another issue. Make sure you have the whole process, all your KPIs, numbers in order, and then make sure you have the right logo. All your trucks are wrapped. You have billboards up. You're advertising the right way. And if you're doing all these basic things, I call them basic, you're going to get bought and acquired very quickly. And Google reviews, you want to maximize your Google reviews.
There's a reason why a company like McDonald's is able to just roll up into a new town, get a bunch of teenagers, and be able to run the same exact way there as they do on the other side of the country. And it's because they have those systems and processes, and they've built that brand for themselves.
Yeah,
they've made it a no-brainer for anyone coming in.
I don't know if it's even should be legal to be able to sell a hamburger that McDonald's makes. I'm not saying that rudely. Like, my kids love that cheeseburger and those chicken nuggets. And I look at them sometimes, and I love the double cheeseburger. I know I shouldn't eat it, but like, how bad it is for you. But yet, every time you pull up to a McDonald's, there's a line around the corner, like you said. I mean, Chick-fil-A is the king of systems and processes. I mean, there you go to any Chick-fil-A, it's the same exact thing. Great experience, your order, they're waiting in line. It's just system and processes win. I say that to people all the time.
No, 100%. All right. So I have a series of rapid fire questions that I ask all of my guests. And one of the things, the reason why I even started the show was I wanted to be able to get more into the personal development side and in the business development side, and just be able to see what it was that helped people get to the point that they're at in their lives, right? And so I have a series of rapid fire questions I'm going to shoot away, and I want you to just answer with the first thing that comes to your mind,
Absolutely.
and we'll go from there. So the first rapid fire question for the Rise Above show is, what are some of the obstacles that you had to rise above from to get to the point that you're at with your business?
My own mindset, thinking I was worthy, thinking that I deserved this. I was my biggest enemy by far. I held myself back for years, and then I didn't think I was worthy. That's the truth. I didn't think I deserved to be happy. I didn't think I deserved to have success. And, went through it, and I made some changes, bought out a few partners, changed some things, and I just went off on my own.
Where was the shift?
Probably my wife. I never had anyone believe in me and not question me in any way. She just had unwavering doubt about me. Just, you have it. I mean, just my number one biggest fan. Just, I never had anyone ever believe in me the way she did.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. All right. The second question is, what is the last book that Lance read?
The last book I just went was 10X from Cart. I didn't read it. I listened to it on
I do the same thing.
Yeah, audiobooks. 10X from Grant Cardone.
Good deal.
Great book.
If you had $1 billion exit with a B, what would you be doing the very next day?
Work. I'll be working the next day.
You wouldn't be in the Bahamas the next day?
No. I've sold 4. I'll be selling my 4th company now. I only went to the Bahamas on one of them with my wife, and that's after I sold one SEO a week later. Every time I've exited a company, I've worked that day and the next day. Nothing.
I love it.
The money, if you're doing this for the money, that's all you're doing, I think you're going to be broke for the rest of your life.
No, I love it. It's an interesting question for me, because I love seeing what everyone's responses are so different, right? And so I love getting that question or that answer from someone who's actually had multiple exits. So, all right. So what is the best career advice that you've ever received?
Learn how to communicate to people.
Perfect. All right. I have a question from the last season that I used to ask everyone. I stopped asking it during this season, but I feel I want to ask this one to you, because I see you as such a confident person. And sometimes what I hear a lot, going to these retreats, talking to people at RoofCON, is that people deal with imposter syndrome, right? And they feel so I don't know if you've ever dealt with imposter syndrome, but I would say, what are your thoughts on that, and what would you say to someone that's dealing with imposter syndrome?
I think anyone that tells you when they're climbing the ladder they don't have imposter syndrome is a liar, right? I had it probably 7-8 years ago, and then I became a millionaire. Then I became a multi-millionaire. Then I became a multi-millionaire, and it was like, okay, well, you're not an imposter anymore. You're the real deal, and I know I'm the real deal. When I walk into it's funny because Jake from RoofCON will tell you this. He had no clue I was, and he flew out here, and he's like, holy shit, because I thought you were an imposter. And then I just literally showed him my laptop, showed him my bank account. He's like, I've never seen that much money in one bank account. I'm like, no, you haven't. Most likely you haven't. And then I showed him my whole organization up and downstairs and everything I built. And, I think that's the problem. There's so many imposters out there. I drive a pickup truck. I don't drive a Lamborghini. You'll never see my social media with me in a souped up, revved up car, or, I wear nice watches here and there, but I just bought a farmhouse, so for my wife loves the farmhouse. I think everyone goes through the imposter syndrome, to answer your question, but I think when you make it, you get more humbled and you want to give more back. Things change. I tell people this all the time. My passion now is I want to give as many people multi-million-dollar checks and change their lives to become multi-millionaires. People that I know I'm going to continue to do it. There's no doubt. Like, there is no question for me. I don't have to do this. I want to do this. And I always say this to you, the most scary warrior you ever meet in your lifetime is the warrior that doesn't have to do it, but wants to do it. You better be scared of that warrior, right?
Yeah.
Because he's enjoying it. And I'm enjoying the battlefield right now, and I'm having the time of my life. So I think we all go through it. I think everyone does. I wouldn't worry about it too much because, listen, I say this to everyone that's going through that imposter syndrome right now. everybody was an amateur boxer before they turned pro and became heavyweight champion of the world. Right? Just never lie to people. Don't ever tell them something that's not true. If somebody says to you, hey, listen, what's your net worth? Always tell them your true net worth. If somebody's not willing to talk to you about their finances, they're probably in a really shitty financial problems situation.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you hopping on the show. We had a great time. If someone wants to connect with you, where do they go?
You can text my cell phone, 215-796-4393. That's my true cell phone, 215-796-4393. I give everyone my number. My best ability is my availability. A guy on a football field told me that. Literally, a guy on a football field told me his best ability was his availability. He sells insurance. I'm like, if he gets it, I'm going to get it.
No, I love that. Well, I appreciate you hopping on the show, and anyone that's tuned in, we appreciate you. Join us next time on the next episode of the Rise Above Show presented by RoofCON. Peace out.
Thank you for having me, and make sure you get your ticket to RoofCON, everyone. Trust me, it's a do not miss. It's one of the few that are do not miss.
Thank you so much.